There's one thing I've learned over the past few years, and that is that you cannot do anything about what anybody else thinks about you, or what anybody else says about you, or what anybody else does about you, really. But you can do something about your reaction to that. You know, how many times have you and I been the subject of other people's wittering and sometimes nasty thoughts and nasty words and nasty actions? Well, you know, that's how it is. That's how the world is. That's how people are. And first of all, we don't know that that's what we intended at all. We can't judge them because we don't know what's in their mind and their heart. So there's nothing really we can do about all that. However, what we can do something about is our reaction to them. How do we react when someone says something against us or acts against us or witters against us? It can be a small little thing or a big thing, but how do we react? And when we analyse that, when we look at the anatomy of a reaction, then we learn a lot about where our heart is. And we can help our heart. We can bring it peace, or we can hinder it by throwing more oil on the fire. It's up to us what we do. So then, we come to the wonderful subject of resentments. Oh, gosh, how we all know resentments so well, and how we suffer from resentments so much. Resentments, those perceived injustices to us. How dare she do that? Who does he think he is? He put that light on, he knows I've just put it off. Or he fills the kettle up to the top and he's only going to have a cup of tea. Those little things. You talk to a newly retired couple who spend more time at home together, or now during the lockdown epoch, the time that people spend together more and more, all those little things rubbing together, and how they generate whole mindscapes of resentments. And things come back from the past. Probably your families are something like mine. You know, something that happened 50 years ago can be dug up and brought into a battle. So-and-so said so-and-so, or didn't do so-and-so so many years ago, and it's brought up now in a family row. And another thing, I remember when you so-and-so, whatever. Well, it's funny, and it is funny, and these things just show that we're just like little kids in a primary school playground, and little kids, I mean little kids. But what are we going to do about these resentments? Because they do cause us upset, and they do cause us sadness, and they do bring a disruption of the peace of our heart. And nothing and no one ever in the history of anything is worth a disruption of the peace of your heart. So, first of all, when you feel resentment, you might want to call it an anger, first of all, to give it a bit more prominence. But when you feel a resentment, a little annoyance with somebody, or a perceived injustice, or whatever it is, stop and look at it, analyse it, bring it into the light, and don't justify yourself, just look at it and see what it is. And you'll see that, first of all, you've been sitting in judgment on somebody, where you've no right to sit in judgment on them, because that's not your job. That's the judge's or God's. Secondly, you look at your own raw patches within you, as it were. What are the bits, the frail bits, or the faded bits, or the threadbare bits within you, which are going to react given a certain catalyst outside. And then look at how quick we are to jump to conclusions. And then how often we feed off those little resentments. We go back to them when we're feeling lonely or tired or frightened or whatever it is. You see, those little resentments, which we should just pluck up straight away, the little weeds emerging, pluck them up straight away. Because otherwise, the little devils around us, will cultivate them. They will feed them. They'll whisper them in our ear. And then we'll allow them, because we haven't rooted them out, we allow them to take root and to become established. And they develop into the big sins of envy, of anger. And then they become far more difficult to uproot. And they spread their roots all over the place and make our life in God really miserable. So when you feel a resentment, get it into the light and tell it, because there's a little devil with that resentment whispering into your ear or yapping at your heels saying, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. When that comes, kick it as hard as you can. Imagine it's I don't know. Well, anyway, just kick it. Throw it away with some force. And say out loud, and you have to say this out loud, not just say it in your head. Say out loud, I don't want you. I don't want you. And it's even better if you use some very strong language to the resentment. Using your best Anglo-Saxon four-letter words, that's what you need to do. So you need to express very firmly, that you do not want this resentment and it should go away. Now, the way to stop them coming in the first place is to pray, especially in the morning, before you do anything else. Well, have a shower and brush your teeth or whatever. But in the morning, when you're quiet, you don't need to raise much to God, because he knows, but you're giving him the first bit of the day. And you're bringing the first part of the day, which is the whole of you, into his light. And do it quietly. Get up early if you need to, but you've got to do it. And because you've done that, you've created an atmosphere around you already. Your heart, if you like, is set in God's light. Again, his angels are with you. They're always with you, but you're now attuned to them. The pulse of their energy and the pulse of your heart have become synchronized. And so they create a sort of protective barrier around you. Those little yapping devils can't get their little claws in, and the resentments can't start. So then, 3 things. When the resentments start, get them out into the light and see what they are. If they persist, say out loud that you do not want them and that they should go away in the most forceful language you can. Doesn't matter if people think you're crackers. It doesn't matter at all. But say it out loud. And thirdly, pray. In the morning, first thing. And then those good spirits around you won't let them get hold, because your heart and your mind has already become synchronized with good and heavenly and peaceful things. Gosh, what a battle we're in. But it's a battle where the devil uses us. And he uses our weaknesses, our inabilities that we haven't admitted. So know what you like, don't be surprised at what you like, and get cracking with good things. Anyway, good luck with all that. It's an exciting battle because it's real. And God's holy angels guard your goings out and your comings in. And may they kick the whatnot out of any little devils that are annoying you with their lies. And may they be with all those whom you love, both in this world and